Recording in progress. Like this, we start. Good evening, everybody. So good to see you, or at least parts of you. Like Bob, we can see a little bit of his white hair over there. Margaret, like this. Haley, Tara, Dev. So good we are together. Very good that we are together, even online, even from, different places, your houses, you're at home. Sometimes it's also, easier sometimes to connect from home, but easier sometimes to also go to the center is also good to come together. So wherever we are, most important is that we use the time we are gonna spend together in a beneficial way, right? That is the most important part, that we use the time that we are actually here, that we're going to be using our minds, using our bodies, using whatever we are kind of like really trying to concentrate our energy, our focus, everything that we're going to, our reasoning. Yes, very, very important. Our logic, our reasoning, everything that we're going to use, make sure that really what we're going to try to do is to use that to transform our minds. And why? Because, well, let's face it, that we are starting to realize already, and all of you, you're becoming advanced students of Buddhism, because you've been hearing these again and again, and but you know already that the mind is the source, right? It's where actually happiness and suffering comes from. Doesn't come from the chocolate cake. It doesn't come from the turkey. It doesn't come from from the new car, from everything. And doesn't even come from the ideas, that we have about how we should be, how we shouldn't be, the kind of like very strong ideas about what we are good at, what we are bad at, those things that we create about ourselves. So we then start to realize that the transformation of the mind that we are trying to do here, when we say, okay, we're going to transform our minds, is with this intention, really this intention to say, okay, let's transform the mind in order to then achieve that mental happiness, right? And that elimination of the mental suffering, mainly. So that's why what we're going to try to do here is more with, focus on eliminating the mental suffering and improving the mental happiness. That's what the Buddha's path is all about. So that's why we need to create then an intention for that to happen. Because right now, the intention that we have normally, it's not by using, the mind, the body, the speech, the energy, everything in order to achieve those two things. Even though we really believe we are, right? We believe we are developing happiness. We believe that we are developing the, elimination of our sufferings. But actually, we are creating the exact opposite of it. So that's why it's so important for us that more and more we start to develop, the correct understanding on how to really develop the mental happiness and how to develop the elimination of the mental suffering. Does it make sense? Yes. So the Buddhist path, so with that intention, we try to create the most beneficial intention in our own minds. Yes. And that's what we are trying to develop throughout these teachings, these weeks, and especially the Monday sessions, because the Monday sessions, what we are trying to develop actually in reality is the mind that understands how to achieve those two games, those two aims, those two aims of mental happiness and elimination of suffering. Hmm? So by understanding how we can achieve that, we create then the motivation and the determination to achieve it. No? So that's why we're talking. That's what we've been trying to develop, these weeks, and that's why we're gonna do it more and more today and next week, with the intention to really develop it in ourselves, the right way, the right reasoning, the right method to really achieve those two things. So for that, we need to. think about it, to contemplate, to meditate, to really, discuss, yes, about these things. So, with that intention that we're going to use everything that we say, everything that we hear, everything that we kind of like talk about, everything that we discuss, with that intention to transform the methodology, yes, the method, the way, the approach we have been using right now in order to achieve these two goals. That's the transformation that we want to achieve. Yes, does it make sense what I'm talking about? The transformation, because it's very say I come here and I say these big words of like, okay, we make these, determination, the intention to transform our minds. To transform from what to what? What are you talking about, Kada? You're transforming, we need to transform from where, to what, right? The transformation that we're talking about when we say we're going to want the achievement, we want to transform the mind, is transform the approach, the method, yes? Especially on how we are trying to accomplish the aim of elimination of our suffering and the aim of happiness. Yes? Mental happiness and mental suffering. Yes, because we saw already, as we started saying in the beginning, that the mind is the creator of these two things. Not the chocolate, not the turkey, not the car, not this, not that. Is the mind, right? So that's why we need to develop a correct method and a correct understanding on how to develop this. So that's what we are trying to do. So last week, what have we talked about last week? Let's see. Dun 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 dun. Bob will say the dab. We'll know what we talked about. Someone remembers what we talked about last week? Da da da
I heard, I
Dab.
heard, I heard that, I heard the talk today driving, and it wasn't, I wasn't there, but it was about how we could practice the four measurables to, counteract self-cherishing and
Yes, very good. I said, because sometimes what I do is that I plan a teachings and then I say, I don't know if I actually talked so much about that. But actually last week was very good that we were able to talk about the four immeasurables, right?
Thank, thank you, Debbie.
Debbie's our notes taker. So why we are talking about the four immeasurables? Well, we have been talking about that actually the reason or um, the main cause for us not being able to achieve these two aims, meaning mental happiness and mental happiness, not only mental happiness, stable, permanent, peaceful, long lasting type of mental happiness, yes. And we're not able to achieve, elimination of the suffering. Elimination means complete elimination, no suffering at all. No, like ups and downs, no more roller coaster. It's like, no more kind of like waking up in a good mood and then 5 minutes being in a bad mood or whatever. Completely gone, right? The reason why we can't do that is because the mind right now believes that the approach, the method, the way to achieve these two aims, is by being extremely self centered. So self centered and so selfish that there is only me, 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 24/7. My computer just said, "Are you playing music? Set up your professional audio settings." Because I would say me, 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 me. But this is actually our music. We say in Portuguese, our mind looks like a broken record sometimes, right? And the broken record that is always there is the me, me, me. Mm? So we believe that following the desires and the wishes of this idea of this very egocentric, self-centered approach will bring us happiness and long-lasting peaceful happiness, and will bring us the elimination of the suffering. What happens actually? What really happens when we follow this? Easy. Our lives are very easy. We can totally see it. What happens is that we sometimes find a little bit of temporary sensory pleasure. Yes, following this. We find a little bit of sensory pleasure when we get what this selfish me wants, right? When he gets the half coffee, when he gets the whatever type of yogurt you go to Publix to buy, whatever you go to Sprouts to buy, Trader Joe, whatever, or when you get to, McDonald's. I was very cheeky one day, you know. I came out, I think, from the center, or I can't remember where it was. And there's a McDonald's on the way to the house, to the where I'm staying at Mary's, and I saw they have drive through, no drive through, you know how to say, no, whatever it is that thing. And then I went and I got an ice cream because I said, oh, this is gonna bring happiness over there in the ice cream, right? No, I didn't. Not because it was going to have happiness in the ice cream, but because we believe it's just easy, and the mind is goes to these things, right? Easily, like a slow slide to this. You get bored, you get a little bit like, oh, and then you get excited, you see something, and then you want. That is from this self-centered attitude, right? Coming from. Because we don't get so excited when someone else wants something. We don't get so excited to try to help them, right? It's like, okay, if you want this, then you go and do your stuff, right? Or we believe that by helping others, something is going to get for us, right? Remember that the belief of the self-cherishing, the self-centered mind, it's especially the eight worldly concerns, right? Reputation, good praise, being afraid of a bad reputation, being afraid of a criticism, wanting material gain, wanting to have temporary pleasures. These are the main things that the sensory, the selfish-centered, selfish attitude, which is our autopilot, right? Oh, the autopilot. That's what it is, right? It's the autopilot. That's what it is, always there. We don't need to think about it. So that in the mental state, that when we start to understand that this is the approach, the method, yes? This is the method. That's why when we talk about in Buddhism, we say that we need method and we need wisdom. And these two together will transform ourselves. Yes? So, when we're talking about the self-cherishing mind, we're talking about that this right now is the method that we need to transform. Does it make sense? Yes? Are we communicating, everybody? Bob, put a finger over there if we are communicating. Yes? Okay. So, what happens is that we are then trying to transform that approach, right? That's what the Buddha is trying to say. That is like, if we start to understand that the approach that we have right now is not good enough, then we're going to start to look for another approach. Yes? Another method. So the Buddha's suggestion is practicing virtues, positive mental states, meaning replacing the negative mental states that arise from that selfish, self-centered approach method, replacing them, transforming them, exchanging, yeah, or changing. I don't know if exchanging or changing, I don't understand the difference, but changing one for the other. Yes? So we change or we transform that approach, which is a self-centered, selfish, which makes arises in us attachment, aversion, pride, jealousy, all of these negative emotions. Yes? So these negative emotions, they arise because of this self-centered attitude. So what we're trying to do is that we're going to try to accomplish, let's say, the transformation of these two, of this mental state of negative, of self-centered, selfish, which makes arise the negative emotions, with antidotes for the negative emotions. That means positive mental states. So these positive mental states, I'm going to talk about that today more now, because that were the Four Noble Truths that we talked about last week. The main powerful positive mental states that help us to really develop a mind that can help, with eliminating the self-cherishing, are the Four Noble Truths. Hmm? The Four Noble Truths, no. The Four Immeasurables, I'm so sorry. The Four Immeasurable Thoughts. Yes, that we talked about last week. So the Four Immeasurable Thoughts, they are positive mental thoughts. Yes? Why? Because they have specifically, they are a mind that, different than a negative mental states, they don't disturb our minds. They are not disturbing the mind. When you are really practicing compassion, love and kindness, joy, equanimity, yes, the Four Noble Truths: equanimity, compassion, love and kindness, joy. Yes? When you're practicing those positive mental states, what is happening to us is the mind is not disturbed. It's not kind of like shaken. It's actually opening. It's in the process of opening, of smoothing or soothing. We can say this, I don't know, soothing. I don't know if that's a good word. It's becoming smooth, or as Rinpoche used to say, the more we do that, the we become soft as cotton. That's what Rinpoche said. So cute. Soothing. Yes, Haley. Haley is always my translator. She knows exactly what I'm trying to talk about. Soothing. I don't know how to pronounce this. So, what happens is that's what Rinpoche says, that when we start to practice these positive mental states, and especially the four immeasurable thoughts, we start to become soft as cotton. I like this. He told me this once, and I said, that's many things that I share with you guys that I never share with anyone, because many of these things are things that Rinpoche told me. So, it's like the Buddha. The Buddha taught, 84,000 times, and he taught during 40 years. And of course, many of these teachings were directed to each person, right? So, I always remember some of these things. So I kind of like share with you, but that actually the idea of the mental transformation, and especially replacing the negative emotions with positive ones, like the four immeasurables, is for us to become soft as cotton. I like that. I like that a lot. So, how do we do that? Well, we need to then understand the mental states of the four immeasurables, right? As we saw it last week. So how equanimity really sees everybody, every sentient being with as equal in wanting to be happy and equal in wanting to not suffer, and understanding that it's exactly the same wish as us. Exactly the same. All the things that we do, it's with that wish to achieve that mental, stable, peaceful, lasting happiness, mental happiness, and is to be at completely eliminating our suffering. So equanimity means that we start to understand that all people in the world, the good ones, the bad ones, the not nice ones, the very nice ones, the every single person. Yes? And also the animals, and also all of the ghosts or whatever it is in over there that are not an animal or a man or a woman, So human, all of them. So that starts to make us a little bit less, oh, that person is not doing that to me, right? That person is not being nasty to me because they don't like me, because that's the self-centered attitude. It's just trying to realize that person is seeing you as either a source of happiness for them, or either a source of pain and suffering. Normally that's more what we are for others, right? When we don't do what they want. Normally we are the source of suffering for others, right? So what happens is that when we start to realize equanimity, we start to say, oh, wow, it's not about me. So that starts to break a little bit that kind of like already very concrete, very stable, self-centered attitude. But then that's not enough. So then we start to think about, joy and wanting others to kind of like, accomplish things in their lives that will help them to be free from suffering and to be happy, right? So we become happy every time that they are able to do that. But to do that, actually, to achieve that mental state of elimination of the suffering, compassion is the mind that we need to develop, right? That is the definition of compassion. Compassion means wishing you and all sentient beings to be free from suffering and the causes of that suffering. Yeah. So that's when we started to look it into this, because we start to realize that, oh, actually, the reason why am I suffering is because of this selfish, self-centered attitude. That is the reason. So how can I help others to be free from suffering? Normally, what we think it is suffering, if we don't understand that suffering, the cause of suffering, this self-centered attitude, normally what we do is that then we think that just giving them a little, money here or food here or shelter and all of that is going to be enough. Am I saying you shouldn't do that? No, I'm saying please do that, because if you don't even do that, forget about the other part, the more subtle parts of how you can help others. Yes? But that in Buddhism is not going to be enough for you to help sentient beings to be completely and eliminate completely the causes of their suffering. Are we communicating? Do you understand what I'm talking about? Yes, Bob, where's the hand? Okay, Haley said yes. Okay. Do you have a question, Bob? No? No. I can't hear you. So so that is important for us to start really understanding that, oh, just that mental state is not going to be enough for us to, eliminate the suffering of others if I don't understand the cause of it. And in the same, when we talk about love, the definition is wanting yourself and others to find lasting, permanent, peaceful mental happiness. Yes? So it's not about temporary sensory pleasures. Yes? We are not saying that temporary sensory pleasures are not to be done at all, right? But we know that they are not the source of happiness. Yes? Because then what happens is that we try to eliminate all the temporary sensory pleasures, and guess what? The mind goes crazy, nuts, like a kid that you take the little toy. Yes? Have you seen a kid when you take the little toy? They go absolutely nuts like this. Yes? That's what we are when we try to take everything out. Instead of taking everything out, how about we look into these objects and to these situations and to all of these that we are looking for to have temporary sensory pleasures, and understand their nature. Understand that they do not have the component of happiness. Yes, the quality of happiness, the characteristic of delivering happiness. Yes, the ingredient of delivering happiness. If we don't understand that, forget about love. That's what we tried to talk a little bit about yesterday, right? Which I was not very successful, because we were talking about many things. But that is the idea, that actually, we can't really feel love and accomplish and realize and spread and manifest love if love is only believing that is giving whatever that person wants for their temporary sensory pleasures. Yes? The same with us. Self-love can never be just simply giving the objects of the attachment to The objects of the attachment which will give temporary sensory pleasures, yes, to this self-centered attitude. Giving it could never be considered self-love. Self-love is considered creating the causes for us to develop a mental state which is permanent, which is, long-lasting, peaceful happiness that will give that to the mind. So, what is that mind? Yes. So, that mind, to achieve that, to achieve the elimination of suffering, to achieve the elimination, yes, of uh, of happiness, yes. For us to be able to do this to ourselves first, and for us to be able to do that for others, the only way that the Buddhist path will say is if we develop the mind of a Buddha, if we achieve enlightenment ourselves. If we achieve enlightenment ourselves, then, yes, we will be able to generate an infinite, unconditional compassion, yes, that will have all the perfect wisdom and power to actually help others to eliminate the root cause of their suffering and to help them, by us possessing an infinite, unlimited love and perfect wisdom and power to help them develop, yes, the causes of happiness in their own minds. What that means. Yes, it means that we then start wanting to develop a mind that can see, understand, help others to truly dismantle, eliminate the cause of their suffering, and truly develop the cause of happiness. So when we think about that, right now we don't know what it is. But the Buddhas is saying that that mind that knows it all, that can help all sentient beings, that can become a source of unconditional, unlimited compassion, love, and wisdom and power, is the fully awakened mind, Buddhahood, or enlightenment, the mind of enlightenment. The mind that possesses perfect, unlimited wisdom and skillful means methods, skillful methods, yes, to guide, to help, to support others, to eliminate their own self-cherishing and their own wrong views or self-grasping about themselves. Are we communicating? Iris, Bob, Deb,
Yes, yes, yes,
yes.
yes.
So then, it's not that we have to achieve enlightenment. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to. I must. I do. I want to. I desperately want to achieve enlightenment. Right? Because I start to understand that the mind of enlightenment, it's a mind that is free, completely free from the causes of suffering. Yes? And is completely full with all of the positive emotions that and the wisdom. Yes? And these two mental states are what we need in order to find lasting happiness and to completely find elimination of suffering. So, does it make sense what we're talking about? Yeah? So that when we start to understand that, we start to then develop what we call the aspirational bodhicitta. Bodhicitta, bodhi means enlightened. Chitta means mind. So we are trying to develop, to aspire to develop the mind of enlightenment or the enlightened mind. That's what bodhicitta means. It's a mental state, an aspirational mental state in this first step that we're talking about, that wishes to eliminate the suffering and the causes of suffering from our own minds and to develop the qualities, yes, and the wisdom and the power in our own minds so we can benefit others with these two mental states. How can I benefit others with the elimination of my own negative mental states and suffering? I stop to harm them. Does it make sense? Because right now, the self cherishing, when there is one last piece of chocolate I eat, I'm harming others. Or when I want to do something for me, then I go into war or just something, you know? That's how I harm others. I harm others. We harm others in so many ways. That's easy for us to see, right? Because of the self cherishing, self grasping mind. And how we achieve enlightenment, how we bodhicitta the mind of having all the perfections, all the positive mental states. What it does is that it actually helps us to eliminate the self-cherishing by doing what? By thinking and cherishing others, as we've been saying in the past weeks. Because when my mind is thinking about, when if I get this, then it's gonna be super happy. Yes, when I got this movie about the Buddha, then it's gonna be super happy, right? So that mind, when I think, wow, I hope that then can be very happy, that is very special for me. I am free. I am happy in that moment. Mental happiness, because I'm not thinking about, oh, actually, I'm gonna get this for me, but if I get this for me, then it's gonna be pissed off at me. So then I need to do this. Then I need to do, you know. Blah, 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 blah. No, it's free because it's just thinking about, I'm, oh, Dan is gonna be so happy. Dan will be so happy. But as we've been saying, these are temporary sensory pleasures. He watching a nice movie about the Buddha. Hmm? So, because my own wisdom starting to develop more and more, I start to see that, oh, it's not only he watching the movie, but it's actually helping him to understand the goal of the movie and to help him to actually put in practice the same two mental states that I'm trying to develop. Yes? The one that is developing, eliminating the self-cherishing, eliminating the self mind, the self-grasping mind, and the mind that is cherishing and thinking about others. So it's two mental states in this. Yes, one is not having the self-cherishing. So when I don't have the self-cherishing, I am eliminating, I am free from the causes of that suffering. Yes. And not only that, I could just be like this. Okay, I don't think about myself. Great. But then I don't think about someone else. So then no happiness. Yes. So what I do, I fill the mind with love, compassion, kindness. Yes? So then the mind is happy beyond words. Because if we get happy just by thinking how Dan is going to be happy if he watched that movie, can you imagine if we would think about all sentient beings being happy, how they would be happy if they would not have self-cherishing, self-grasping in their minds, and if they would have the mind that cherishes other all the time? Think about how our minds would be absolutely vast, unlimited. We would be happy all the time because our minds is constantly wishing, not only then but all sentient beings, to not have the self-cherishing, the negative minds in their minds, and to have the positive mental states of cherishing others, which brings ourselves happiness. Think about that. Think about really the power of expanding about all sentient beings everywhere in the universe, in the dimensions, in the everywhere. Our minds will be happier than impossible be. The Buddha used to say, some of the of the sutras, they say it's un, uncountable. It cannot be counted. Yeah, it cannot be measured. Unmeasured. Yeah, something like it cannot be measured. The happiness that one person would have, yes, because it's impossible to measure how we would be happy. You know? Do you understand what I just said? Does it make sense? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes. Let me see, because Haley said something here, so I'm afraid that is the desire struggle for survival considered self-cherishing? If the desire or struggle for survival, it's because you want to continue going to publics just to benefit yourself and you want to continue harming others and you don't want to care about others, it's yes, it's considered self-cherishing. But if your desire, struggle for survival, is because you want to transform your mind so you can eliminate your self cherishing and you want to kind of like use everything that you eat in Publix, that you buy in Publix, in order to be able to cherish others and help others, then it's not self cherishing. Does it make sense, Haley? Da-na-na-na. Yes. So one thing or the other, nothing is inherent. I mean, nothing is either, you know, a desire, struggle for survival is not self-cherishing always, or not a bad, or, or not, or self-positive. It depends on what is the intention with this. So then we really start to, wow, I really want to achieve the enlightened state. So I can eliminate the causes of my own suffering, and I can eliminate the causes of, and I can help all sentient beings to eliminate the cause of their own suffering. And to do that, I need to also perfect all my qualities, all my skillful means, all my methods. Yes, my methods. Yes, so I can help others. So that idea of I want to achieve enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings, which is the enlightened mind, mind of bodhicitta, bodhi enlightened, chitta mind, the aspiration to do that. When we say I want to achieve the mind of enlightenment so I can benefit all sentient beings. So remember, the mind of enlightenment means, what is the definition of the mind of enlightenment? It's a mind that is free, has eliminated completely the causes of suffering, so self-grasping and self-cherishing, and has developed, perfected in unconditional, unlimited way all of the method, all of the good qualities. Yes, love, compassion, kindness, blah, 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 which are ways to cherish others. Yes, okay. So, and then I say to benefit others. What benefit means? They accomplish these two aspects of the enlightened mind: eliminating the suffering and the causes of suffering, and developing, perfecting the qualities, and yeah, and cherishing others. Does it make sense? So
Yes.
the mind of enlightenment has one definition, which has these two things. And when we say about benefiting others, we are talking about helping them to develop these two aspects of the enlightened mind. How we do that? How we eliminate the suffering and the causes of suffering? Through wisdom. What is wisdom? Wisdom is realizing that things do not have inherent components, qualities, features, characteristics that they do not have. Yes? Like happiness being in the chocolate cake. When I eliminate that mental state in my mind, what am I doing? I am developing the causes for eliminating the causes of my suffering. I don't know if I said that in a good way. I'm eliminating the causes of my own suffering. Yes? The more I eliminate that view, that believes, that puts inherently inherent characteristics, or inherent qualities, or components, ingredients, believing that they exist from the side of the object, that the object can deliver those ingredients to me. Yes?
We understand.
So that mental state is true wisdom. Wisdom means that I have to see that this idea is wrong, that this view, when I input qualities, characteristics, components, ingredients into things, it's a total invention illusion of my mind. So I need to see that I'm doing this, and I need to see that, oh, if things are not in this way that they appearing to me, this illusioned way of having deliciousness, having, happiness in the chocolate cake, if that they are not there, so what is there then? You know? Well, there is only a lot of ingredients like flour, egg, and this and that coming together and creating a temporary union of parts that we label it cake, chocolate cake. That's it. There is nothing else like deliciousness, good, bad, kind, not kind, whatever. There's nothing else there. Why? How do we do this? How do we develop this? As I think you might be tired already of listening to these. 3 ways we analyze. We look to the quality that we are putting there, and we say, does it really exist? Deliciousness or happiness really exist in the chocolate cake? Because if it did, the more we eat, the happier we become. We already came to this conclusion that is not like that. The more, every time that I meet with the chocolate cake, it doesn't matter if I already had entire ice cream, at home, I would still encounter happiness in the chocolate cake. Yes? And third, even if the chocolate cake is on top of a pizza, I would have to have that. That's a good one, because then it's like, oh, but then it would have to be there. Or even if it is inside of a momo, what's a dumpling. Even there, we would have to be deliciousness. Yes, and happy. And last one, every single person, animal that would encounter the chocolate cake would have to have the same experience that we are having. Because deliciousness and happiness would be an inherent ingredient. Inherent ingredient means it's always there. It's a part of it. Yes, it cannot be changed. It cannot not have it. It's always there. Does it make sense what I'm saying? Yes. So by developing that type of wisdom, we start to then eliminate our own causes for suffering. Yes? So then if I understand that, when I'm going to try to help others, what I'm going to try to do with them? Am I going to try to just say to them, eat the chocolate cake so you can be happy? I'm going to try to say to them, eat the pizza because you're going to be happy? Or I'm going to try to say to them, eat the chocolate cake, but don't believe that happiness is going to be there, because it's actually going to create frustration for you when you do that, when you try to look for happiness in the chocolate cake. Yes? Or maybe you do it with yourself first and you eat the chocolate cake without any attachment, and people is going to say, how can you do that? And then you explain to them because you understand that there is not there. Does it make sense? Are we communicating?
Yes.
So what happens is that with time, we start to develop more and more skillful means to help others to develop that understanding. Yes? To develop that wisdom by contemplating, by meditating, by thinking, by analyzing, by looking, by, investigating, by developing the mind, that it starts to not necessarily take for granted everything that appears to the mind. Because that is the main problem right now. The main problem that we have is the mind that literally buys into everything that appears in it. If today I am saying the chocolate cake is good and is happy and all of that, I go and I buy and I eat it. When tomorrow I'm saying no, chocolate cake is very bad and all of that and don't do this. It's like social media. It's like Instagram. Instagram, everybody is a expert. So you go and then you're gonna find people that say eating 2 eggs a day is very bad for your cholesterol, your health, and blah 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 blah. And then you're gonna come with things, and then two minutes later you scroll and then there's two other people saying how eating 2 eggs a day is very helpful, very good. Da, da, da. So your mind becomes crazy, like, oh yes, I eat, then I don't eat. Oh yes, I don't eat, I don't eat. Da, 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 because you're believing in it, everything that appears to it. That's why social media can be so dangerous, and fake news. It can be so dangerous because our minds are already completely not investigating anything that we see and we hear and we watch. We are blind faithfully buying into it. Yes? Consuming it. And I'm not saying here, like, in the sense of like, oh, consuming the advertisings and all of that. Yes, we are also doing that. But we are also doing that consuming of what our minds are creating and labeling things as good or bad or this and that. So when someone says to me something that I don't like, I immediately label, impute into that person a bad kind of like feature into them. And when I do that, I don't see it as me imputing that feature, that quality of bad into that person. Hmm? And that only arrived because that thought only came because of my completely habituated autopilot mind that comes from my self-centered, selfish mind. Because that person did something that became to me, to the self-centered, a harmful or how do you say, harmful or threatening. Yes? To this me and what the me likes. So if someone is going to get the chocolate cake, the last piece of chocolate cake, we're gonna have a war, right? And this person is going to be considered bad. Or if this person eats the last piece because they ask, oh, someone wants the last piece, and everybody said no, including you, and the person eats, you get very frustrated because they should have insisted, they should have shared anyway, right? So then what we do is that we impute in that person negative mental state. Yes? Negative view of them, negative quality of them. But we don't see it. That is coming from this self-centered, from this habit, from this autopilot, from this kind of like from our minds. What we do? We see there is an inherent, present, permanent feature, quality, product, ingredient of that person. And then when we see it like this, what do? We aversion, or boom, we want this person very far away from me. So who's creating the limitation and who's creating the idea? Yes, you. That person might have act in a way that we could label on a relative conventional way. Means relative means independence on circumstances. For a short period of time, I can say that this quality is not in the person, but is a way to represent what of these conditions are bringing. Like, for example, when someone lies, when someone is lying, it's not that there's no such thing as lying. Yes, there is a conventional lie because there are some facts that can be proven that if they come together, there is a specific result. Yes. And this person is saying, no, this is not like this. Right? They're lying about that. So what happens is that there is a circumstantial that this person in that moment is speaking something that in our lives we call it lie. But what there is not is an inherent, permanent feature in that person as a liar. And even if they have the habit to continue creating and talking lies, if we remember equanimity and we remember our goal and we remember our autopilot, actually this person is screaming for our help. These liars will be our best teachers and best friends. We would like to have them closer to us because they are the perfect example for us to have compassion. Because we understand that if they are constantly lying, is because they are believing that this is going to be the way that they're going to achieve happiness and be free from suffering. So they are even more confused. So in that moment, they can be considered liars. But a few months later, they actually tell something the truth. So in that moment, they are, what is the opposite of someone that tells the truth? The liar and the truther?
Teller. Truth teller.
What?
Truth teller.
Truth teller. I like mine better. Truth. What did I say? Try almost truffle. The liar and the truffle.
Truth teller.
The truth teller. So what happens is that, so then if there was an inherent component of that person to be a liar, they could never tell truth. They will always lie. And it's not true.
That was part of it. Yeah.
Right? Nobody.
I don't know.
Nobody lies 24/7 during 100 years that they are alive. Nobody. So it's not true. It's the same example that I gave that Bob, in relation to Alex, it's shorter. But in relation to Debbie, he's taller. Yes? So is Bob inherent taller, inherent shorter? Nope. The same way, the liar is not inherent liar, is not inherent truth teller, is just considering the circumstances, he's gonna have a label. But that label doesn't designate, doesn't create, doesn't impute an inherent quality, feature, component, ingredient to that person. Wow, this was a very nice way to explain as well. I like it. Bob, I think you had a question.
No, it's been answered. Thank you.
So when we start then to aspire bodhicitta, the first type of aspiration, this aspiration has two aspiration. Yeah? Relative and conventional and absolute bodhicitta. So what does it mean? Means that the absolute bodhicitta means I need to understand wisdom. I need to develop the wisdom. If I want to achieve enlightenment, I need to have two mental states. Remember? I need to have the elimination of the suffering and the causes of the suffering, which are the self-cherishing and the self-grasping. So how do I eliminate that? By developing the correct view that things do not have inherent components in themselves. So this is the first aspect. That mind is what we call absolute bodhicitta. Yes? So it's like the mind of the wish to achieve enlightenment through developing wisdom. But wisdom alone is not enough to achieve enlightenment. So I need to achieve by developing the correct method. The correct method, the corrected approach is perfecting my good qualities so I can cherish others better and better and better and further and unlimited. Yes? So this is that second part, which is what is going to bring me happiness, which is the second aspect of the enlightened mind, perfecting the good qualities, through the approach of developing a mind that cherishes others, that replaces the self-cherishing to a mind that cherishes others. Yes? That is called relative bodhicitta. Yes? So when we talk about the the mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta, it becomes a vast mind because it has these two components. A mind of an aspect, the union. It has a union of the method and a union of the wisdom. Does it make sense? Are we communicating?
Yes.
Yes. Haley? Yes. Is it making sense?
Yes.
Because it's very important for us that we start to understand. I love this. I don't know what Haley did, but like love it. So what happens is that we start to really understand that it's not enough just to have stupid compassion, right? Just to be kind of like, nice thinking, oh, I just do that. I just kind of like, say nice things to this person and that's it. No, 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 no. No, that's not enough. Really, really, really understanding that if we don't use our own mind, the potential of our own mind to develop these two aspects of wisdom, because the mind has the potential to eliminate this wrong view of seeing things having components and inherent qualities that they are not there. We have that potential. Why? Because this is the way things are. If it was not, then yeah, there's not much we can do. But that's how things exist. Things exist without this completely absurd, illusion way that we are doing it. We are seeing things. So this is important. And second, understanding that the approach that we use right now to find happiness and to find the elimination of our sufferings through only being selfish and self-centered doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's the mind that cherishes, the mind that cares, the mind that develops real love, real compassion, real equanimity. That is the mind. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. This is the mind. Happiness only arises actually in our minds when we really cherish others, Rinpoche used to say. We can only find true happiness, we can only experience it when we cherish and think about others. I always say is that that's what we can do. And we already do it, as I was giving the example, when I just go and think about, oh, Dan is going to like this. But as I say now, my wish or my compassion or my love is very limited. It's very conditional, right? Believes that actually happiness is a feature that is in anything that this person needs to have in order to be happy. But we don't think, may this person have a mind that is free from self-cherishing and self-grasping, that a mind that is full of love, compassion, and kindness towards others. That is the wish. That's why we do aspirational prayers. When we do aspirational prayers, what we are praying for is for that. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. Yes? Does it make sense? We start to understand. And then we start to have the results of wishing that in our own lives. So then when we're going to really help and be good and be nice and be kind and be compassionate to others, he's going to come with that wisdom, that understanding that, oh, the chocolate cake is not going to do much. And I want to help this person to be happy and to have the causes of happiness and to be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. Therefore, I need to do more than just offering chocolate cake. I can offer chocolate cake with that wish that this chocolate cake may become, the causes for this person to be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. That already becomes happiness to the mind. So everything that we do, if we approach with that mind, with that wish, with that desire, no, in a sense of good desire, that wish to wanting others to benefit, to achieve, so we can achieve enlightenment, so we can really achieve that mind that is free from suffering and is completely full of good qualities. If I develop that mind, I can help others to develop that mind in themselves. I need to first do it myself. So that's why it's a self-responsibility, is guiding by or doing it by example, right? We say like this. I think Bob will know that there's very different styles of management. No? And one of them is like, the management, the best way to be a manager to others is actually the best leadership skills. Yes, it's kind of like leadership skills. If you want to be the leader to bring every sentient being to happiness and to freedom from suffering, you need to start with yourself. Then you guide by example. Then you lead by example. Does it make sense? Yes?
Yes.
Hmm? Okay, good. So today we're gonna stop today here because I'm gonna to next week we're gonna finish saying that just wishing is not enough. So we need to engage. We're gonna move even further. So bodhicitta has the wishing bodhicitta or aspiring bodhicitta, but especially the engaging bodhicitta. Yes. So the aspiring bodhicitta is like, wow, I would love to go to Florida. But then engaging bodhicitta is buying the ticket. Yes. So aspiring bodhicitta is I would love all sentient beings to be free from suffering and to have happiness. So to do that, I am going to achieve enlightenment. Yes? So what do? I engage into practices, into study, into contemplation, into things that will bring me that result. Yeah? That is very important. Buddhism is not just a thing about wishing, sitting down on a cushion and wishing that the world would be happier and all of that. It's courageously engaging with your mind full of delusions. But even though you know you're kind of like selfish, you still go through it so you can break the barrier of your own selfishness. It's a very courageous. Haley, I'm loving it. I think we should always do like these kind of like online teachings with the little faces and emojis. So that is very important, that is like courageous mind. So it's really engaging into it, engaging with our body, speech, and mind. So next week we're gonna talk about that. Yeah, engaging bodhicitta, how to really unify, this union of this method and wisdom. Hmm? So, what do I need to do to really break the walls of this self cherishing, selfish attitude? And what do I need to do to eliminate this wrong view and to hold the correct view of how things are? Yes? Does it make sense? Are we communicating?
Yes.
Yes,
Hmm?
we.
Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so what you guys gotta do at homework, yes, is trying to see in yourselves during the week, during the next week until next Monday, how, you know, how you, how that even if like maybe you cannot do much right now, or or you are suffering with something, or there's a situation that is consuming you, by you trying to develop a wish for that person to be free from suffering and to have happiness, and for you to be able to achieve a mental state of a Buddha of enlightenment that is free from these, so you can help this person, or you can help all of the situation that you're going through, or all the situation that you see in the newspaper that you touched you, that is these to completely be eliminated. Check if you can do that. Transform the situations, normal day-to-day mundane situations of your daily life into ways to aspire bodhicitta. Does it make sense? Is it clear? I hope it is, because it's a very nice exercise.
Yes.
So trying to aspire bodhicitta in day to day, create. Yes? Instead of wanting to kill that person that cut in front of you on power line, or whatever, 95, So it's kind of like you just wish that person to be happy in the cause of happiness, because you understand what is making them suffering, and understand that when you do this is making you happy. Yes? These
Mhm.
two things.
Yes.
Okay? Good. If Haley say yes, so then we are good. Okay? So we're gonna dedicate, we're gonna make sure that everything that we did today, everything that we heard, everything that we thought, everything that we communicate, everything that we, reflected, everything that we use then. The best dedication is dedication that may this mind of enlightenment that has already started to develop and be aspired in myself and all sentient beings to continue growing, growing, growing until it's autopilot in us. Yes, that's a dedication. And that the correct view that we already started to understand a bit more, that things don't exist with these, inherent components. May this view be completely eliminated, and may we stabilize a correct view. Yes, best dedication. And by doing that, we then achieve the mind that will be able to help all sentient beings. Yes?
Mm.
So we dedicate in this way. Okay? Let's dedicate for that. And of course, we always dedicate for Thubten Kunga Ling to continue having all the resources like you guys. I'm so happy, 13 of you came to the teachings, and some of you are like Bob, Margaret, and Iris at the center. So kind, so, so kind, because this is very important. The center exists because of you, for you. So we coming together, there is only, let's say, a teacher teaching if there are people listening. Think about it. And there's only, because there is people listening, that there is someone here. So because of you, I'm here. Because I'm here, you are here. So it's interdependent. We need each other. Yes. So we dedicate that we can continue this interdependence again and again and again and helping each other. Yes. And especially that, we would only be here because of the kindness and the incredible wisdom and effort of all of our teachers, especially the Dalai Lama and Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Yes. That has, through life after life, and especially in this life, accomplish these minds of bodhicitta and these minds of correct view, so he could have the perfect compassion, the perfect wisdom, the perfect power, unbelievable, unbelievable power. Power means effort. Rinpoche didn't sleep, didn't know all the time, helping about us 24/7, effort, the effortless, this power. This is what power means, to help others, and he helped us to have a center to learn these teachings, to be able to have teachings online and books and all of that, so we can help ourselves and others. So we dedicate for Rinpoche's swift return, for his holiness long life, and for all sentient beings to be happy and to be free from suffering. Okay, we dedicate for that. So thank you so, so, so much. Don't forget the homework. Yes. And I
Thank
see you tomorrow.
you tomorrow.
Yeah. Tomorrow only online, not on the center, because don't know how to make the Shantideva thing happen at the center. Yes.
Okay.
So tomorrow, not at the center, just online. Okay, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
I
Thank
already miss
you.
Florida and miss you all.
Thank
And
you.
miss all the
Thank you,
chocolate
Venerable.
cake.
Thank
Bye.
I love your chocolate cake talk.
Yes, me too.
Only problem is
Bye.
the chocolate cake you brought was too good, so it's on another
Exactly.
plane. I have to still think about that one.
Bye, everybody. Good night. Night, night. Bye.